Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Five Ever Timepieces. I am your host, Chris. And as you can tell from today's title or the episode's title, we will be going over the Sesquicentennial of Audemars Piguet. Today we have a very special episode. Not only will we be diving into the illustrious history of one of the most iconic names in watchmaking, Audemars Piguet. This year, the brand celebrates its 150th anniversary, and we will be exploring its legacy, some of their groundbreaking innovations, as well as a few of the stunning new releases that's going to come out later on this year. So, whether or not you're a seasoned watch collector or you're just simply fascinated by horology, today's episode is definitely for you, as you will be able to understand and possibly learn a few things that has transpired within the brand of Audemars Piguet over the past 150 years. Let's get started. Now, the legacy of Audemars Piguet. Within the legacy of Audemars Piguet, it starts. Let's take it back. Let's take it back to 1875 in a small place in Switzerland. I think it was called the Val d'Ajol. You have the two childhood friends as Jules Louis Audemars and Edward Augusta Piguet. These two men decided to join forces to create a brand that would redefine watchmaking. Jules, I think he believed he had the technical aspects, as far as like crafting some of the intricate movements, while Edward focused primarily on sales and operations, I believe. Also, from the beginning, they combined, innovation with elegance. That's just a formula that I believe still defines that brand today. One of their early breakthroughs, though, was the inventions of the world's first minute repeater wristwatch in 1890, 1892. Yeah, 1892. This wasn't just a new technical marvel, it was a statement that wristwatches could rival pocket watches in complexity and craftsmanship. So let's fast forward a little bit to, let's bring it up a little bit to 1970, 1972. 1970, between 1970 and 1972, when Audemars Piguet released and designed and released the Royal Oak. Now, the Royal Oak was definitely something that was unconventional by design measures. This watch was developed by Gero Genta. For those in the watch industry or those interested in specifically AP and the Royal Oak, we know the name Gero Genta as the father of the Royal Oak. Now, at that time, luxury sports watches didn't have, well, the sports watch category itself didn't even exist. With this octagonal bezel and then the integrated bracelet, the Royal Oak definitely challenged the industry at the time. It definitely challenged the norms within the industry, and it became a symbol of audacity. You know, but in all, today, Audemars, as well as the Royal Oak itself, it remains one of the most sought after collections in the world as well, from celebrities to private collectors. They clamor at the latest drop and they all fall for the, not fall for, they fall jump at the opportunity to purchase said watch. Because as you all know, having a correct and standing relationship with your authorized dealers and the brand itself is how you actually get the opportunity to purchase these watches at retail. They know you're not just going to sit and resell these watches. So as you're listening, you might be thinking, what makes Audemars Piguet so special? What sets Audemars Piguet apart? First, it's one of the few watchmakers that are still owned and operated by its founding families. That is a pivotal point. This independence allows them to innovate without compromise to, say, board members or stakeholders. This is a family funded, family owned, family operated brand to this day. And then you go into their craftsmanship. Did you know that every Audemars Piguet watch undergoes hundreds of hours of meticulous hand finishing? I didn't know that. I'm thinking they are just pumping them out to give them a quick Q&A, quick QA, and then it's off. But as you just heard, they have hundreds of hours dedicated to the hand finishing of these pieces. Even the parts you would never see within the mechanics, these parts are even polished to perfection. This is the dedication to artistry that elevates their watches from mere timekeepers to works of art. Finally, there's their commitment to constantly pushing the boundaries from Audemars Piguet's high complications like tourbillons and perpetual calendars to the avant-garde designers like the one of my personal favorites, the Code 1159. In general, Audemars Piguet never stops, and I feel will never stop evolving within the industry. Now, the 150th anniversary models, let's think about this really quick. Now, let's talk about the most important thing. This is 150 years of, let's just say, production, not even production. This is 150 years of dedication to craft, dedication to providing and setting a high standard for the products that they produce. So with the 150th anniversary releases, we start with the most talked about, which will be the Royal Low concept, the tourbillon. The tourbillon. It's a 43 millimeter face. This is a definite limited edition piece. For those of you who don't know, this is a collaboration piece with the artist Cause. So it's more than a watch in the sense that it's a conversation starter. You're blending bold colors with some of Audemars Piguet's technical brilliance. Next, for 2025 and the 150 years they've been around for their 150th year anniversary, you have the brand new Royal Oak Offshore. Now, this collection is definitely something that's going to continue to push boundaries, like I said, with its vibrant colors, to the unconventional materials. Like I say, Audemars Piguet has begun to utilize sustainable materials as well as other practices just to continue to push the boundary and provide the staple pieces to the market. Now, these watches are perfect for those who want to make a statement. The remastered O2, the Master O2, I guess, the self-winding, it takes us back in time, painting a picture to what, the late early 60s, if not 1960. It's like an asymmetric model. It's like a perfect blend of history and previously stated Audemars Piguet's innovation. Their innovation for their products and their technical abilities is ideal for individuals who simply appreciate and want to display their appreciation for the brand and the brand's heritage. But we can't forget the masterpiece, the Royal Oak self-winding flying tourbillon openwork. Now this sand gold watch, I think that's what they're calling it. This masterpiece is like introducing a new alloy. It's like a color of the gold that they have. They call it like a sand gold. It plays beautifully with the light. It catches your eye almost instantaneously. You can either admire from afar or under a loop, in my personal opinion. And let's deep dive into craftsmanship for the brand and how and what they produce. Let's take a look closer at what goes into creating these timepieces. Audemars Piguet employs some of the world's finest artisans, from master watchmakers to gem setters. Each watch movement is assembled and adjusted by hand, so you can imagine the precision required to create a simple tourbillon, whether a single component rotates on its own axis to counteract the effects of gravity that we see in pieces rotating in free form in the air. It's not just engineering for a timepiece. If you look at the design and the complications, it's like poetry in motion, one can say, for the brand itself. And then there's the finishing on Audemars Piguet's products. Have you ever heard of the Cotes de Geneva or the satin brushed techniques? These are traditional Swiss methods, that they give the watch its own unique like signature, its own like unique shine, and its own like texture. How they say every fingerprint's different. Every watch or product that Audemars utilizes these techniques with, the even the edges of the movement plates are, you know, chamfered by hand. They're creating like a mirror polish, like a mirror like polish. It just shows you the dedication that goes into the finishing after all the other work has said and all the work is said and done. Now, as far as like Audemars Piguet's audience engagement, now I love to hear from you guys, our listeners. What's your favorite Audemars Piguet model? What are some of your experiences within the brand boutiques? Are you a fan of the classic Royal Oak, or do you prefer something more contemporary, like my personal favorite, which would be the one of my one? Let me clearly say this: one of my personal favorites from the brand would be the 1159. What's your favorite? Do you have anything like that in mind? Drop us a comment or a tag on social media with your thoughts. And if you're lucky enough to own an AP, let us know. Like I say, which one have you had? Which one you have? What you love about it? Which one would you love to see in your collection? What are some of the boundaries you'd like to see the brand push as far as product development? Also, be sure to check out Audemars Piguet's website for a closer look at their latest releases. Trust me, these watches are definitely worth looking at. Some of you might even drool over. Just go over to Audemars Piguet's website for a closer look. You would see all the implementations for product releases for 2025. So, as Audemars Piguet celebrates its 150th year anniversary this year here in 2025, it's clear that the brand itself isn't slowing down. They're not only preserving the brand's tradition, they're constantly reinventing it. With Audemars Piguet's advancements in materials, mechanics, design, what the brand produces over the next century promises to be even more, well, promises to deliver more breakthroughs, I should say, whether through its sustainability initiatives or the collaboration with artists like Cause. Audemars Piguet continues to set the standard for luxury watchmaking. I want to thank you guys for joining me on this journey through the world of Audemars Piguet and Sesquicentennial here in 2025. Here's to you, Audemars Piguet. Here's to 150 years of innovation, artistry, and timeless elegance. Listeners, if you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, share it with your fellow watch enthusiasts. Until next time, keep ticking forward.